The old truck and the open road. Jack Carter had always loved the open road. As a kid, he would sit in the passenger seat of his dad's old Ford, watching the endless highway stretch ahead. His father, a truck driver, would tell him stories about different towns, diners, and the kind people he met. Jack had always dreamed of having adventures of his own, driving wherever the road took him. Now, Jack was grown up, and he had his own truck, an old but sturdy 1985 Chevy Silverado. It had rust on the doors, the radio only played one station, and the AC barely worked, but Jack loved it. It was more than just a truck, it was a piece of his past, a reminder of the man who taught him to love the road. One summer morning, Jack decided to take a trip. He didn't have a destination in mind. He just packed a bag, filled the tank, and hit the road. The highway stretched before him like an open invitation, and Jack accepted it without hesitation. As he drove through Tennessee, he saw rolling hills and golden fields. The sun was high in the sky, and the warm breeze rushed through the open window, carrying the scent of fresh-cut grass. He could hear the hum of tires against the pavement, a sound that always felt like music to him. After a few hours, he spotted a small diner by the highway. The neon sign flickered, spelling out Maggie's Diner in bright blue letters. Something about the place felt welcoming. So he pulled into the lot and stepped inside. The door creaked as he entered, and the smell of coffee and bacon filled the air. A waitress, probably in her late 50s, smiled at him from behind the counter. She had a kind face and wore a name tag that read Linda. "Coffee?" she asked. "Yes, ma'am," Jack said, taking a seat at the counter. She poured him a steaming cup. "Where you headed?" Jack chuckled. "Nowhere in particular. Just driving." She nodded. "That's the best kind of trip." Jack sipped his coffee and listened to the chatter around him. Two old men sat at a nearby booth, arguing about the best fishing spots. A teenage boy in a baseball uniform laughed with his little sister as they shared a plate of pancakes. Jack ordered a burger, and when it arrived, it was exactly what he needed: simple, warm, and filling. He took his time eating, enjoying the easygoing atmosphere. Before leaving, he paid his bill and left a generous tip. Linda smiled as she took the money. "Safe travels, stranger." Back on the road, Jack turned up the radio. A classic rock song played, and he sang along, his voice mixing with the hum of the engine. The road stretched ahead, long and open. And Jack felt a sense of peace. As the sun began to set, he found a quiet lake just off the highway. He pulled over, turned off the engine, and climbed onto the hood of his truck. The air was cool now, and the stars began to appear one by one, their reflections dancing on the water. He thought about his dad, about their road trips, and about how life had changed. His father had passed away a few years ago, and though Jack missed him, he felt closest to him on the road. Maybe he'd keep driving tomorrow. Maybe he'd find a new town, a new diner, and new stories, or maybe, just maybe, he was already home. Moral of the story: life isn't always about the destination, it's about the journey. Sometimes, the best moments come when we slow down, embrace the unknown, and appreciate the simple joys along the way. Home isn't just a place, it's a feeling, and sometimes, we find it on the open road.